we call the deep. Because if we call God eternal, that means we are able to say that I cannot stand from the beginning of God and see the end of God. That is what it means by eternal. So that is why God is being defined as the deep. The deep, in essence, means the knowledge of God that is not known to men or is not known to a man. Those are two different things. A knowledge of God can be known to men, and a knowledge of God can be hidden from a man. Because of the Bible begins to tell us how that Christ is the mystery from the age that was made manifested to man. So Christ was the thing hidden from men, because of there are certain knowledges of God now that men don't know. You know, right? Because of God is eternal, so there are certain knowledges of God now that men don't know. It's not because it is not available to men, but because men are not pressing enough to know that much about God. Now that is what we mean by the deep to men, whereby a knowledge is hidden from men. But when we talk about the deep to a man, this is where we are talking about a man can, and a man has labored more than I have labored. He has been laboring for 10 years. I might have just been laboring for 2 years. And he knows so much about God, and I know so little about God. So what I call the deep is his reality. That is what he now means by the deep to a man. So what David might call the reality might actually be the deep to me, because I don't know that much. So now this is what we call the knowledge of God. But one thing about God is, God is a merciful God. God is a merciful God. And God's intention was never to throw his will at man. That is why he gave man a choice. His intention was never to throw his will at man. So what God told us, God never told us, I will find you. He said, seek me and you will find me. He did not say, sit down and me, I will find you. No, because of if God finds you, that means he's imposing his will on you. But if you want to know me, seek me and you will find me. So that is where we call launching into the deep, whereby a man takes up a man takes up a point that I want to know God so much, so I want to launch into the knowledge of God. That is what we call launching into the deep, whereby a man takes up a position that I want to seek the face of the Lord. That is actually what we call launching into the deep. And this is the call of God to every man, because of if a man must dominate, a man must launch into the deep. And one thing we know about God, God is eternal. So as much as you think you have known God, you have not known God. In fact, if you say you have known God enough, then that means you don't know God. Because of if you know God, you begin to know that you know enough of God. That is what we call launching into the deep. That the farther I go, the more I discover that I am not gone anywhere. So we begin launching into the deep. This was what God called launching into the deep. Give me the book of give me Luke 5. Give me Luke 5. Luke 5 verse 4. Okay, yeah, just leave it on the screen. So when we talk about launching into the deep, when we talk about the concept of launching into the deep, is where a man takes a position that I want to know more about God. Now, if you begin to read the story, time might not let me, but if you begin to read this story, you begin to discover how that Peter had toiled all night, right? Peter had toiled all night.